Happy morning, children. Today we'll start with the topic taxonomic categories or taxonomic hierarchy. What is hierarchy? It is a system of grouping organisms in a particular category or in a definite rank so that every individual is assigned a particular category or a particular rank in the existing system, right? It is followed everywhere in the offices, in the schools, but here we are talking about this hierarchy related with the living organisms. How living organisms are organized, are categorized, are provided correct ranking in the system of classification, right? So in order to represent the ranking in living organisms, we use certain categories, right? And what are those categories? Those are 7 in number, and those are called as obligate categories, right? So what are those 7 obligate categories? Kingdom, phylum or division, class, order, family, genus, species. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are 7 obligate categories. These are 7 ranks which are being used in the taxonomy for ranking of organisms, right? Now, sometimes in between these 7 obligate categories, there could be subcategories like subkingdom, subphylum, subclass, superclass, suborder, superorder, subfamily. Okay, so but those are not obligate, right? The most important ones which are used in the taxonomic hierarchy are these 7 obligate categories, and as you can see that I have marked arrows in upward direction. That simply means that this is indicating the lowest rank, species, right? Species then gives rise to next level of organization, that is genus. Genus forms family, family forms order, order forms class, class forms phylum, and then phylum forms the kingdom, right? So this is the lowest category, this is the highest category. Okay, and one more thing we will notice while studying about all these obligate categories, that maximum number of similarities among the individuals will be found at the species level. At the lowest level of category, maximum similarity exists between the organisms, and as one moves ahead in upward direction, right, as we are moving above towards higher categories, higher ranks, right, the number of common characteristics will decrease and the dissimilarities, differences will increase, so that maximum differences will occur at the level of kingdom. Okay, so this thing will become more clear when we'll start studying about them. So starting with the lowest taxonomic category, that is species. How do we define species? It is a group of morphologically related individuals. It is a group of similar type of individuals, right, which can interbreed, which can reproduce freely among themselves. Is that clear? So how can we define species? Species is a group of similar type of individuals and can interbreed freely among themselves. For example, indica is the species of mango, right? Tuberosum is the species of potato. Leo is the species of lime, right? Why? Because scientific name of mango, what do we say? It is Mangifera indica. So indica is the species of mango. Scientific name of potato, Solanum tuberosum. So tuberosum is the species of potato. Scientific name of lion is Panthera leo. So Leo is the species of lion, right? And likewise, scientific name of tiger is Panthera tigris. So tigris is the species of tiger. What is the scientific name of human beings? Homo sapiens. So sapiens is the species of humans. Okay, so one thing is very clear that while defining species, what we say that members of a species can freely interbreed, can freely reproduce among themselves. A lion can reproduce with another lion, a tiger with another tiger, a human can reproduce with another human, right? A mango plant can have fertilization with a gamete from another mango plant only. Okay, but occasional hybrids can also occur in nature, and these occasional hybrids are formed due to breakdown of barriers between the species. There are examples where breeding has occurred, reproduction has occurred, mating has taken place between the two different species. Though species, in this definition of species, what we saw that member of a species can only reproduce with member of another species, right? But interspecific hybrids, individuals could be produced by mating between two different species. But this mating is not natural one, it is not normal one. Most of the time, these interspecific hybrids have been obtained by man either in captivity. Right, suppose a male lion and a female tiger has been kept together in captivity for a long time, so there can be mating between them, or it could even be produced by artificial hybridization, right? And most of them are steriles. Got it? Now, one very important question could come in our mind, that why a species cannot interbreed freely with members of another species. Free interbreeding is not possible. Why? Because of differences in external genitalia, because of differences in the mating organs, reproductive organs with which a male copulates with a female, right? So since these are not these are different in among the members of different species, so members of a species can interbreed, reproduce only with the members of the same species. But it's not that it cannot occur. There are many things which are occurring against nature, right? And an example of such type of individuals which are the products of interspecific hybridization. Number one, mule, which is a product of mating between female horse and male donkey, right? Hinny, a product of mating between male horse and female donkey, right? Tigon, a interspecific hybrid produced due to mating between male tiger and female lion. Liger, a product of mating between male lion and female tiger. Okay, right. Likewise, zonkey, a product of mating between zebra and donkey. Zorse, a product of mating between zebra and horse. Okay, so these are the examples of interspecific hybrids, some of the examples among animals. Among plants also there are interspecific hybrids like sour oranges, which are being produced by mating between citrus, two different varieties of lemon, Citrus maxima, Citrus reticulata. Okay, likewise there are sweet oranges, there are blood red oranges, okay, and many other types of plants are there which are the products of interspecific hybridization, right? Now, if we talk about the interspecific hybrids, most of the interspecific hybrids are sterile. Mule, sterile. Hinny, sterile. Then zonkey, sterile. zooks sterile. They cannot continue their race, right? But there are some fertile ones also. For example, tigon, liger. These are the examples of fertile interspecific hybrids. Clear? So all those individuals which belong to the same species, they share maximum number of common characteristics. Okay, next we move on to the another higher category, that is genus, right? So what is genus? Genus is an assemblage of related species. When a group of interrelated species are placed together, they form the next higher category called as genus, right? The genus will have more common characters in comparison to the species of another genus. For example, Panthera leo, Panthera tigris, Panthera pardus. So leo, tigris, pardus, these are interrelated species and have been kept together in a common genus Panthera, right? Leo, tigris, pardus are the closely related species which have been placed together in a common genus Panthera. Okay. Likewise, among plants, potato, that is Solanum tuberosum, brinjal, Solanum melongena, makoy or blackberry, Solanum nigrum. So tuberosum, melongena, nigrum are the closely related species which have been kept together in a common genus, that is Solanum. Okay, now one more example I would like to give you all from animal, that is cat, right? There are different species of cat. Common cat, scientific name is Felis domestica. Leopard cat, Felis bengalensis. Marbled cat, Felis marmorata. Jungle cat, Felis caeus. So domestica, bengalensis, marmorata, caeus, these are the different type of species. These are the interrelated species, rather I should say, which have been placed together in a common genus, that is family. Okay, now when closely related families assemble, they will form the next higher category, that is family, right? Now one more thing I would like to add over here, that the genus could be monotypic or polytypic, right? What is a monotypic genus? Which has only one species. For example, Homo sapiens, right? A polytypic genus is a genus which has more than one type of species. For example, Solanum tuberosum, Solanum melongena, Solanum nigrum. How many species? 3 different species of the same genus. So that is an example of polytypic genus, right? Now an assemblage of closely related genus will form the next higher category, that is family, right? So what will be the definition? An assemblage of interrelated genus and which have some common features but are different from the genera of related family on the basis of reproductive and vegetative characters. For example, the leopard genus is Panthera and that of cats, Felis. So they have been kept together. See, genus of cats and genus of leopard, Panthera, they belong to the common family. They have been kept in the common family Felidae, right? That means family Felidae includes the family of cat and the dog family. Okay. Likewise, in case of plants, genus Solanum, genus Datura, genus Petunia, these are interrelated genus which have been placed together in a family, that is Solanaceae, right? Likewise, an assemblage of interrelated families, similar type of families, they assemble to form the next higher order category, that is order, right? So among plant we can name the interrelated families like Solanaceae, Convolvulaceae, Boraginaceae, Hydrophyllaceae, Polymoniaceae. They all have been placed together in the order Polymoniales. Okay, and in animals, which example could be given? The genus of Hyena, Hyenidae, genus of cats, Felidae, genus of dogs, Canidae, genus of bears, Ursidae. They all have been placed together in the common order Carnivora. Right? Now coming to class. Class is an assemblage of interrelated orders. You will understand more clearly by taking example of class Mammalia. Class Mammalia has been formed due to the assemblage of interrelated orders. What are those interrelated orders? Chiroptera, order of bats. Marsupialia, order of marsupials or pouched mammals. Rodentia, order which includes rodents. Cetaceae, which includes whales. Carnivora, which includes carnivores. And Primata, the order which includes monkeys, apes and human beings. All are the similar type of orders which have been placed together in the class Mammalia. Okay. Likewise, in case of plant, what example could be given in this context? Similar type of orders, Polymonials, Sapindales, Rosals, Ranels, Passiferals, they all have been placed together in a common class, that is Dicotyledone or Dicotyledons. Okay, and when similar type of classes assemble, they form the next higher category, that is division or phylum. Division is used for plants, phylum is used for animals. So let us see how phylum in case of animals includes interrelated classes. Chondrichthyes, a class which includes cartilaginous fish. Osteichthyes, which includes bony fishes. Amphibia, which includes frogs and salamanders. Reptilia, aves, Mammalia, they all have been placed together in the common phylum, that is Chordata, right? And an assemblage of different phylum gives rise to the next higher category, that is kingdom, and this kingdom could be plant kingdom including all the plants and animal kingdom including all the animals. And at this level there is maximum number of dissimilarities. Very few common characteristics are there and most of the characters are different. So that is what we saw in the taxonomic hierarchy or taxonomic category. That is, lowest category is the species, and as we move up to higher categories, the number of common characteristics goes on decreasing, so that minimum common characteristic is found at the level of kingdom, right? So with the help of this, in the next class we'll try to learn the table which is given in your book. You just have a look at the table. Some of the terms you will find them to be tongue twisters. They are difficult to pronounce, but we'll try to pronounce it together so that the things would become easier, right? By the time you will go through these taxonomic hierarchies, for every hierarchy you will learn the definition and the examples. Every taxonomic category is to be substantiated with the help of examples, right? So that you are going to learn. Okay children, thank you.